What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to some more Littleroot laddering. This is the first episode in Series 9. So, we had Series 7, where we got all the Pokemon from the second DLC, the Crown Tundra. Yes, that's the one. And then we had Series 8, where they introduced all the restricted Mons. And now we're in Series 9, where it's literally all the Pokemon from the DLC minus restricted. So it's literally the same as Series 7. Okay, cool. But, so in the end of Series 8, I was really addicted to playing Mudsdale. And I'm like, hey, this is really cool, but I don't want to do Trick Room things with it. So we're playing it next to Pheromosa for Speed Swap plus coaching. And it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed Pheromosa and what it can actually do as not only a support mon, but also having offensive power with just Ice Beam. Just being able to put on a ton of pressure and just one-shotting things that it probably shouldn't be able to, but here we are. Naturally, we're still playing with a restricted and Regigigas because this thing is actually busted, as long as you have the right support for it, which Weezing does perfectly. So, interesting things about this Weezing set. We are Shuka, so we can actually live some hits. And by some, I mean approximately one. Will-O-Wisp and Taunt are great, especially when, after a Max Strike, Weezing can then just outspeed things and be able to go for a Taunt or a Will-O-Wisp, depending on what you need to do. And then, rounding out the team, because neither Gigas or Mudsdale like being burnt, we have Misty Terrain with Tapu Fini. And this Fini set's really interesting. We're not Calm Mind, but we're pretty bulky, and we still have a ton, like a non-zero amount of offensive pressure with Muddy Water and Nature's Madness. What's great about this is Heal Pulse means that late game you can heal back up your Mudsdale or your Regigigas depending on what you need to do, and wind out these late games where people don't anticipate it. And then the last slot we have Talonflame, which is not a mon I've played with on this team yet, but it does a lot of what I want in that slot. We do have access to Tailwind, so we are able to go faster if we need to. So like Mudsdale plus Talonflame can be a lead if we really needed to, or like Talonflame Tapu Fini. And then Fast Will-O-Wisp. Naturally, Talonflame outspeeds opposing Regigigas if that is something we're worried about. So we can go for a Will-O-Wisp before they get a Max Strike or whatever off into us. And then we have Dual Wing Beat as our offensive pressure. We are Goggles, so we can actually deal with potentially Venusaur if that is something that is a problem, which it might be. Obviously, Tapu Fini means that we can't be put to sleep. For our offensive pressure can't be put to sleep, but Talonflame not being on terrain means it still is affected by those, so having safety goggles is pretty great, especially when we have the potential to set hail or sand with either of our Dynamax targets. So interestingly, this team is kind of lacking in potential offensive power outside of Gigas and Mudsdale, so Talonflame might need to be something that is a little more offensive. Or we need to change like the Fini set to be a little more offensive as well. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do, but I'm interested in seeing if this iteration of the team is appropriate and will work for what I want it to do. So let's just jump into the ladder. I have not played a single game on the ladder this season yet, because I mean it is only the second when I'm recording this, but so we're starting off in Great Ball. And let's see what we can do to actually get started for the season. See if Mudsdale is going to carry us to victory, or if we're going to slowly descend into madness this season. Pretty quick on game number 1 for the day. Let's see what they're bringing. So we have Torkoal Venusaur, Whimsicott, Urshifu, Metagross, and Grimmsnarl. So they are most likely weakness policy Metagross, with a couple different ways they could trigger it. They have potentially Sucker Punch on both the Grimmsnarl and the Urshifu. Metagross also just like bulks up in front of us with Steel Spikes and potential like screens from Grimmsnarl as well. But honestly, I really like the idea of just Wheezing Gigas here. Like, the problem is yeah, we still have Max Quake, right? Yeah, we do still have high horsepower, so we can actually put on a ton of offensive pressure here. Yeah, I like Gigas Wheezing up front. I don't see a solid way for them to be able to deal with this. I like Feeny in the back, and I think I'm just going to bring Mudsdale to put on a little bit more pressure against the Metagross and Torkoal in the end game here. Feeny helps cover against Torkoal as well. Mudsdale doesn't particularly line up well against the Venusaur, but that's what we have Gigas for. It might be appropriate to bring like Talonflame to deal with it, but I don't know. I'm pretty okay with doing Gigas things here to start out. I think their team on paper looks pretty weak to it. Pending that we can remove like the Grimmsnarl that's presumably going to be on the lead here. It's actually just going to be Metagross Whimsicott as a lead. They could Tailwind. This could be Tailwind plus Max Quake into Wheezing. So I think our play then, we could go for Hailstorm to remove the Whimsicott. I don't want to trigger the policy on Metagross, so I don't want to Quake immediately. Could also Giga Impact to put them down to Sash and lower the speed on the Metagross. I think I like that. We could... Actually, I like Max Strike plus Will-O-Wisp into the Metagross. Presumably, they're going to go for a Max Quake into the Wheezing, which then we are able to live. We should be able to live one. If they have, like, Zen Headbutt, which is not a very common attack on Metagross, it could be problematic, but I don't see that being likely. They are just going to immediately Dynamax Metagross here. So that's pretty good for us. Downside to this is they are going to get off presumably 2 attacks on with the Whimsicott, which does kind of stall out our Dynamax, which would be annoying. Oh, they're just Fling. Fling Lychee Berry, which raises attack? Interesting. So that's going to put them to +3. But now we get Max Strike off. That's going to take out the Whimsicott. And now Wheezing is going to be faster than Metagross because Clear Body's turned off. So we should be able to connect this Will-O-Wisp and then potentially live a hit. But we actually missed we miss the Will-O-Wisp. We do end up eating our Shuka, but +3 Metagross, we may not be able to live this. Nope, not even close. So that's unfortunate. Like, obviously, we're 85% to be able to live that hit. And then we can Quake into them the following turn because they have already triggered their policy. I think I like just going into Mudsdale here and trying to put on pressure against the Metagross early. Like, they are at +3, and that's going to be a big deal. They have Torkoal here, which actually is whatever. To be 100% honest, I really don't care about it too much. Especially since we do have Feeny in the back if they do have Venusaur, so we can potentially remove the out of, like, Sleep Powdering us. But we need to remove this this Metagross as soon as possible, which actually could be incorrect. We could want to... I think Quake into Metagross is correct. The question is do we high horsepower or do we Rock Slide? Like, I could high horsepower into the Torkoal to prevent it from getting off a huge eruption. which I don't hate. Metagross is at -1. Yeah, I like attacking into the Torkoal here. Torkoal's just going to protect. That's actually kind of fine. I'm pretty okay with that in all actuality. Gigas is still faster than Metagross, so that's fine. Problem is we're doing approximately 0 damage now. I did not see Fling as a potential like play here. I saw a lot of things, but it was not on my radar. Yeah, Mudsdale goes down here. Unfortunately, I think because we missed that Will-O-Wisp, we're going to pretty quickly lose this game. Because now they have another Steel Spike that can go into Feeny, and that should be able to take Feeny out as well. So we've had 1 turn of slow start. So now we can Max Quick into Torkoal. That will still do a decent chunk. We could also Hailstorm to remove the weather and then go for Muddy Water. And that should take out the Torkoal then, because the weather would be changed. Problem is, do I care about the weather? I think the answer is yes. I don't think Metagross has any reason to protect here. We could potentially also get like a... They're going to withdraw Torkoal. Really, really smart play, actually. Because, like, our out here is to remove their weather, so Venusaur is slow in this end game. No accuracy drop. We Hailstorm into Metagross, unfortunately. I debated going for the Hailstorm into the Venusaur slot. But I didn't think the switch would be very likely. But super smart play there from our opponent, realizing that like we could change the weather, and the weather is going to be important to this end game. Quake in the Feeny should take us out. Yep. All right. Well, we got, and we missed a Will-O-Wisp, and that kind of cost us. But I'm actually curious if we could live that hit. Let me pull up the old calculator here and confirm that. I actually don't have this team on my computer. Let me pull the old Discord and pull it up. And while we're doing that, we'll go ahead and start looking for another game. Alright, let's see if I can find this team fairly quickly. Hey, look at that. That looks like the right team. It is. Let's just quickly import this. I'm 95% sure we can live that hit, but I just want to confirm. Just want to confirm for my sake. Let's see, we're looking for Wheezing. And we're looking for Metagross. And let's say their max attack at +3, Wild Dynamax. And they have... Sure. With Shuka, it is a roll. No, it's 104% minimum. If they are burnt, therefore it's doing 51. So yeah, if we get the burn there, then the following turn we can protect, and I think we're in an okay position at that point. Granted, like obviously we need a lot of things to go right for us, but 85% of the time we live that hit. And that's really unfortunate that we missed. But, you know, that is the downside of playing a move like Will-O-Wisp, is it's not 100% accurate, and therefore you're going to have games where you don't always get to do your thing. But, you know, as long as you learn something from it, I think it's fine. Another thing that we could have done differently is instead just do Mudsdale things that game. And even if they do have... I'm actually curious how much that would do. If we have Mudsdale... Let's just import my Mudsdale set real quick. While we're still searching... And let's say we get a coaching off. Quake is doing at most 89%. But we're also +1 defense, so even if they do the fling things, we take every hit. So, you know, interesting, but whatever. So, next up we got Salamance. Hold on now, what year is this? Whimsicott, Celesteela, Eliki, Ensign, and Gastrodon. Did my internet drop? I've never been booted out of a game like that. It's weird. Hello? It's fine. I didn't want to play against that team. I wanted to play against a different team. I don't know what happened there, but whatever. Can't say I've ever had that. Hey, look at that. We get to beat up Metagross again. Except this time we're actually going in with a solid plan. So they have Grimmsnarl, Tapu Fini, Sylveon, Moltres, and Spectrier. So let's see. I'm actually curious. If we have Regigigas, how much does Regigigas do to Metagross? Max Quake does approximately half. So that's not quite going to work. We could do Talonflame Mudsdale. I actually don't really care for that. Actually, I think that's fine. And I think we want Tapu Fini. And I think Pheromosa in the end game is fine. I think this lines up against basically everything they have going on. Sure, why not? Let's do it. We'll get a fast burn off. We can potentially switch into Fini if they lead Spectrier here. A couple different things we can do, and I think this lines up okay. Mudsdale is going to do a sizable chunk. Alright, so Sylveon plus Moltres. Interesting. Interesting. Well, Mudsdale is going to be able to actually take a couple of these hits. Just because we are Assault Fast, and we can go for potentially a Quake into the Sylveon to be able to live a hit. I don't want to go into Pheromosa because they do have Quick Attack, presumably, on their Sylveon here. So what if we just go for, like, dual Wing Beat plus a Quake into the Sylveon spot? Presumably, this will pick up a KO. They're not maxing Moltres, which is good for us, I think. Maybe this just means they're going for, like, Nasty Plot here. Could be like protect plus nasty plot. Alright, they're gonna protect the Moltres actually. Okay. You know, it doesn't do a ton. They're gonna yawn Mudsdale. Well, that's fine. Because we just have Feeny. And Feeny's gonna prevent us from taking a nap. Super bulky super bulky Sylveon. There we go. That's the mon we're looking for. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a very long day. So we're gonna go into Feeny here because I don't want to take a nap. And now I bet they go for quick attack things. So I'm actually just going to Quake into the Sylveon to guarantee pick up that KO. Might have been correct to go for the go for Tailwind this past turn, because then Tapu Fini may outspeed their Moltres after they go to +1. Fini says my Mudsdale's not taking a nap. It's not really that tired. They're going to withdraw Sylveon. They're going to bring out their Fini. Opponent, you know you just used Yawn on me, right? Like, you know that's a thing you did. Now Mudsdale's at +2 with Assault Vest. And they are leftovers? Yep, okay. So now I think I like going into Pheromosa here. Do I? Does that actually accomplish anything? I don't think so, actually. I think they're pretty likely to max Moltres now. We can just go for Nature's Madness into that slot. And we can Quake into... Actually, how much does Rockfall do to Moltres? I don't think it's enough. Let's just Rockfall and go to +3 and get bulky Fini here as well. I'm pretty sure a Max Darkness is coming out to try to negate some of our boosts. There's the Airstream. Okay. And that does approximately 0 damage. We're going to give you the speed boost, so now their Fini's most likely to be faster. They're going to go for Muddy Water. Approximately 0 damage from that. They do get the accuracy drop on our Fini, which is kind of unfortunate. Oh, I actually clicked Rockfall. I didn't mean to click Rockfall. It's enough to pick up their Fini, but I meant to go for another Quake. That's actually kind of unfortunate. Leftovers is going to recover that Sandstorm damage back. Okay. So we know they have a Sylveon. And they have a Metagross. Okay. I'm feeling alright. Not like awful, but we're doing alright. I want to target down the left side. I think targeting down that side is going to lead to where Moltres is not able to actually accomplish KOs, especially with Mudsdale being as bulky as it is already. So let's just go for a Protect on Fini, because I think they're going to target that slot. And we'll go for the high horsepower into Metagross. They might protect. They might protect their Metagross this turn. Nope, just darkness. Okay. It's really unfortunate. I could have gone for Heal Pulse this turn to negate that damage that the Moltres just did. And they actually correctly identified that Mudsdale is a threat and they need to target it down. Nice reach from our opponent. Yeah, had we gone for the Heal Pulse there, Moltres, I mean, the Mudsdale actually holds on, and then I think we're in a much different position then. So this is really awkward because Moltres is going to outspeed Talonflame, but our Sash actually isn't broken, so we can go for a Tailwind. But does that do anything for us? We could Tailwind. I really want to get a burn off into the Metagross. This is really interesting. I think Pheromosa needs to be our answer to Moltres at this point. So I think our play is to Muddy Water this turn. Hope to get an accuracy drop. We could Protect. The problem is Moltres is still going to be faster. So I think we need to set a Tailwind so that Pheromosa is guaranteed to be faster. Man, had we gone for another Quake, we might have actually been able to live that double up last turn. So there's the Tailwind. There's a Bullet Punch. That's a non-zero amount of damage. And now Feeney's actually faster than Moltres, but they're just going to Airstream, pick up the KO on the Talonflame. Okay. So this is fine. Moltres is back to being faster than Feeney. Yep, okay. Interestingly, they are not in Berserk range. Their Dynamax is over. And depending on how bulky they are, Ice Beam might be able to pick up the KO on the Moltres. I'm going to Nature's Madness into the Metagross, pick up a bunch of damage on it, and we're going to Ice Beam into the Moltres in a hope that this is enough to pick up the KO. Oh, so close. So now they have a +5 Moltres. So close. Air Slash into Pheromosa. That's going to pick up the KO. Nature's Madness connects. Gotta remember, Feeney is at -1. Okay, Moltres does go down, but it cost our Pheromosa, and that's really unfortunate. Granted, another Bullet Punch would have taken us out anyway. But they have Sylveon here in the end. And we have one more turn of Sand. I believe this is the last turn for Sand. It is. Okay. But luckily, Feeney should be the fastest thing on the field because we still have Tailwind. I don't know who we missed. Unfortunately, I cannot read Japanese. We missed the Sylveon, which is actually what I really wanted to hit. There's a Meteor Mash. There's a Hyper Voice. That's going to do a ton. And now we're in Bullet Punch range. So I think our play this turn is to Protect, get a little more recovery from leftovers, and then hope we can live a Bullet Punch this next turn and go for Muddy Water to pick up the double KO. Like, I think that's our out, is hope that this is enough. Hope we connect on both. We are at -1 accuracy. Muddy Water's not 100% accurate. And our Tailwind is over now. I mean, I have a non-zero amount of speed in this Feeny. Let's just hope. They actually just outspeed us now. Yeah, because they had the +1 speed from their Dynamax. Close game. Close game. I think we could have won that had we had we quaked into the Metagross, or the Metagross slot that turn. I think we then are able to live the double up. And then there's Salt Vest. Okay. I'm not surprised, seeing how they have Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash. I'm not surprised to see them have a Salt Vest here. Leftovers Feeny. Yep, pretty common set. They were Babiri, so I'm really glad we didn't go for Iron Head, and instead we just went for the Quakes. But I think had we got that Quake off, we were able to live that double up. And I think the other important thing there is we don't protect the Feeny and we go for Heal Pulse instead, because had we got to click Heal Pulse, I think we just win that game too. Because we do a very... we should actually just be able to one-shot the Metagross with Max Quake then. Based on the other calculations that I had done, we know that we one-shot non-Dynamax... Actually, no. Let me confirm before I start talking here. High horsepower does approximately 89%. So we need... It's close. 127 speed on Moltres gets to... what is that after their boost? I wanted to see if... I believe that outspeeds my Talonflame. I believe that gets to 190. Actually, Talonflame gets to 191. I believe. Let me pull that up. Because if we could get a Will-O-Wisp off that game, I think we're in that game too. 195, so we were actually faster than... No. They bullet punched us that turn. So that would have broke Sash. No, that actually would have been fine, because we don't need Gale Wings to Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, I'm dumb. So we take the bullet punch, we get the Will-O-Wisp off, and then Metagross basically sits there the rest of the game too. Yeah, super close game. And I think we could have... I actually meant to look. I don't think they had Quick Attack on the Sylveon. I think they had Yawn and Protect. I think it was Mystical Fire, Yawn, Hyper Voice, Protect. Alright, well, let's see if we can put a win on the board today. We have Eliki, Lando, Tornadus, Politoed, Galarian, Zapdos, and Dreadnought. Okay, well, they have 3 flying types, so going for Max Quakes really does not look overly appealing here. Pheromosa gets outsped by Eliki, so that's kind of awkward. But I think this is a Pheromosa Mudsdale game. And I think I like the idea of Feeny, and I'm leaning toward Weezing, because then we can turn off not only Drizzle, but also, like, we turn off Prankster, we turn off Drizzle, we turn off Intimidate, turn off Defiant. Like, I think they're really dependent on their abilities here. So being able to turn off their abilities with Weezing seems pretty okay, all things considered. We are own tempo on Mudsdale, so like we're immune to Intimidate anyway. But Pheromosa just puts on a ton of pressure against opposing Landorus because we have Ice Beam. One of the big reasons I changed from Icy Wind to Ice Beam was because of Landorus. Yeah, there's Landorus Zapdos. This is actually like the ideal lead for us. All things considered, I don't think there's a better lead for us. They're gonna intimidate my Pheromosa. Hey, look at that, Mudsdale's own tempo. I don't lose my attack. I think they're very likely to Dynamax. Why do they Dynamax here? I think Weezing's really important to be able to get off a Will-O-Wisp into whatever here. I don't think we speed swap this game. I think coaching is really good. Question is, what do we do after coaching? I actually don't like coaching here. I want to Ice Beam this Landorus. And we'll Steel Spike the Zapdos to get a defense boost. They are going to Dynamax. And it is the Zapdos, so that should mean we eat up this Landorus this turn. Unless for some reason they have to protect on Landorus. I've ran into it before. Non-zero chance we lose Pheromosa next turn. Which I'm fine with. Zapdos is presumably going for Airstream here, which should let them outspeed us next turn. Yeah, they're base 100. Goodbye, Landorus. $167 plus was them to 250. Yeah, they're gonna be faster. Actually, they don't go for my Pheromosa. So now we can get a coaching off. I'm actually okay with this. Pheromosa got to pick up a KO, so that's cool. So now we're actually at +1 speed too. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Interesting. So if we coaching here, we actually, what if we just Ice Beam the Zapdos and go for a Rock Fall into it? That's gonna remove the weather. This is gonna go do a chunk. I don't think it's enough to pick up the KO. And they're gonna Airstream into Pheromosa this turn, but we have Sash. Rockfall is going to make us lose our Pheromosa, but I'm pretty okay with this actually. They get their speed boost on Politoed. And because of Surf, we're actually going to get to pick up the KO here. This is kind of actually perfect. Not quite how I envisioned this game going, but pretty happy with everything going on here. Break a potential Sash if there's one over there. And now I'm going to bring out Feeny. And Feeny might outspeed their Toad. I doubt it. There you have Dreadnought as their last. Okay. We're going to set up Misty Terrain. Which is actually kind of unfortunate because that means now we can't we can't go for a burn into the Dreadnought, but let's go for a Heal Pulse. And let's just Quake into this Dreadnought. Get the special defense boost on our boys. Ice Beam does approximately nothing. They can't freeze us. Liquidation. We also live because we're at +1 defense. Heal Pulse says A-OK. And now we Quake, so now we should be able to live the double up again next turn. JK LOL, there is no double up. Mudsdale came to play in this last game. Do you think they were ready for Heal Pulse Tapu Fini today? I'm going to click Heal Pulse again because I want Mudsdale to live. And, yeah, we'll just high horsepower into the Politoed. Sweet! That was a super sick game. Really, really glad to say that that's the one we're going to end the day on. So let's throw up... I would love to look at their team, actually. What? Kings Rock. What? Kings Rock E-Speed Eliki? What? Okay. Life Orb. Mixed Landorus. Alright. So their max special attack Landorus, but they have Fly. Is Fly just the best, like, flying type attack that Landorus gets? Does it not get a special flying move? It does not. It actually, the only damaging flying move they get is Fly. I don't think you play Fly on your Landorus then. I also don't think you play Therian. I think you just want this to be Incarnate, but whatever. So Focus Sash Tornadus. Nothing too surprising there. Scope Lens what is this team? Helping Hand, Perish Song. What? What are these items? They're actually Mystic Water on the Dreadnought. Interesting. I don't know what Jaw Lock does. The move prevents the user and the targets from switching out until either of them faints. Interesting. Guys, I would be lying to you if I said I knew what G-Max Dreadnought did. I believe it said Stealth Rocks. I'm not entirely sure, but definitely a very unique team to end the day. So let's throw up this rental code, talk through a couple more things here. Pretty satisfied with the team. Obviously, the first game did not go great, but in hindsight, like, I think we lost that game on a coin flip, or less than a coin flip. You know, we lost on a 15% roll, which from there we were able to pretty much snowball the game and take it over as we please. The second game, I definitely meant to go for Quake and instead went for Rockfall, which definitely hurt us. And then the turn that they doubled into my Mudsdale after my Dynamax was over, super smart play from our opponent. I definitely anticipated them ignoring my Mudsdale and targeting down the rest of it, and so that's why we went for the Protect. But had we just gone for the Heal Pulse plus target down the Metagross, I think we're in a pretty okay position at that point. seeing how we're still at +2 special defense, plus assault vest on the Mudsdale, so we can actually take probably another max darkness, and then we can just fire off another. We can fire off a muddy water or whatever to pick up the KO on the Metagross at that point. So super close games today, and really Pheromosa got to show off what it can do in that third game. And one of the real reasons that I am really glad I switched to Ice Beam. First game I got to play with Ice Beam, and it definitely did its work today. So that is going to be it, everyone. Get this rental code while Carl still has it up for us. And we'll be back on Thursday with some more Littleroot laddering. Have a good one, everyone. Peace.